Welcome to Sergey Ross Insider. This is the video on 7 ways to write a killer marketing email based on drift emails, drift examples. And I'm really excited to share with you guys because I've learned a ton of them from them and I wanted to share specific examples, what makes sense. So let's get into it. The very first one, or rather I'm going to show you the 7 things first. So the way that you can write your email is, there are a ton of the ways, but one of the ones that are really effective is state the offer, you highlight the free stuff, you make an announcement, you tell a story, you use a provocative quote, you ask a question, or you let the reader in on some insider information. There's more, but these are the ones that are really, really effective. I've seen how they work. So if we talk about stating the offer, this is what it's gonna look like. This is all based from drift emails. I'm just pulling stuff from them and then I'm sharing why it works, why it's really cool. This is what it says. Hey there, I took the training that every new marketing hire here Drift goes through. And then they have in brackets 6,000 plus hours of learning and 50 plus books and made it into a 30-minute session that you can get right here. And then to sign up, click here. That's pretty much their next line. A very good way to come up with an offer. That's just real effective, to the point, and the fact that they give in a lot of specificity is real effective because any marketer who, nobody really has a ton of time. Somebody tells you, oh, I'm gonna save you 6,000 hours. Awesome, let's do it. And specific to the point, gets to it right away, and that's just a way to do it if you are having a specific offer in mind. Number 2 is when you want to highlight your free stuff, whatever you're trying to give away for free, this is how you can do it. You can say, hey, I just got off the phone with a person, DG, and he said that Toronto Roadshow was amazing last night. So you can weave a little bit in the personal story. Again, you want to make the way to personalize emails at scale is you make an email personal. That's the way to personalize. Again, the way to personalize emails at scale is not by using the customized dynamic things like first, last name. Those are not customizations. Everybody uses them. Table stakes, they don't really matter. What really matters is you being personal, using pronouns, using a lot of different things in your copy, making it short, and then saying it the way that you speak. Like a lot of it I talked about in one of my videos, and you want to add that even to things like when you're trying to give away your free stuff, right? So start a little bit with a story, and then you can say, if you can make the trip to Boston to this conference, I will hook you up with a ticket. Yep. And then you say, all you have to do is get on the plane. This is an offer. All you have to do is get on the plane. It's a nice and easy 1-hour flight, and I will take care of the rest. Just click here to get your tickets and use the promo code Toronto to register. So obviously these people, their drift guys are super smart. They already segmented us. They know I'm in Toronto. They know it's an hour flight, which is awesome. I mean, it's usually not an hour, but it's longer, but they're pretty close. And just like a really good way to make a free offer for whatever you're trying to do. PDF, free giveaway, book, whatever you're selling. Okay, next, it's make an announcement, right? Whenever you make an announcement, you can jump straight into it. This is one of the ways to do it. You can say, hey, I'm writing to share some exciting news. We just relaunched our marketing podcast. Check out the marketing swipe file here. And you can add a video at the bottom. You can add more copy, and you can put it in more you can put it in subheadlines, and then say, hey, this is what all you need to know. This is what it's all about. This is where you can get it, and then provide more details in those subheadlines under those subheadings. That's how you can do it. Again, can you put in the story while making an announcement? Absolutely. And this is one of the ways you can do it. I'm going to share it at the very, very last step. But again, that one, you can just jump straight into it and say, hey, this is what we did. You can check it out here. Tell a story. This is one of my favorites. Again, marketers love telling stories, and this is a big deal. So a ton of ways you can do it, but here's how they do it, and I really liked it. Welcome back. Thanks for reading along with me. This week, I'm talking about the people you surround yourself with at work, in your personal life, and online. It's one of the most important, valuable, evergreen lessons I've learned. You are the average of 5 people you spend your time with. That goes for friends, family, and teammates. growing up, I didn't have the benefit of this simple but crucial advice I wish I had. This is, by the way, this is the email written by their CEO. This is not even a marketer. And David Cancel is amazing at that. So I took it, and it's a really great example of how can you write a personalized story. And before he jumps into a story, he tells you why it's very valuable. And then you have the credibility of knowing that it is coming from the CEO of David Cancel just before you open it. Use a provocative quote. And provocative quotes are a very, very good way to pique an interest of your reader, and then they will start reading. Vision without execution is hallucination, Thomas Edison, and then you put something that is relevant below that. You can say, hey, for years Bill Gates have taken something he calls thinking vacations. That's a brilliant way of using a provocative quote right at the top of your email, and then you have your subject line that matches with your provocative quote, and then you have the next line that is your story or whatever your content is about, but it just syncs perfectly all together. Asking a question. You want to ask a question, say, hey, can you respond in 5 minutes? That's the subject line. And you don't have to necessarily ask it in the first line of the email. You can start already with the subject line. You can say, I received this email from Drift. It was super impressive. It was really contextual, and I was at an event at a marketing meetup, and then they sent a follow-up email. It made a ton of sense, and they said, can you respond in 5 minutes? And then the first line said, it was obvious from the event that you spent a ton of time creating your killer content marketing strategy, and people love your blog, ebooks, and videos, but when your best prospects get on your site and interact with your content, are you there to meet and greet them? Obviously, Drift is pushing their product in this specific email, but the way that it was written was very, very good, starting with a question right away. Let the reader in on some insider information. This is a very effective way. If you can do it right, in this example, this was a long email that David Gerhardt, their VP of Marketing at Drift, wrote, and the insider information was at the bottom. It was under PS. Essentially, this is what the last part of the email said. Actually, the first part of the email said, okay, so you've been checking out the new content over the last week for Drift Insider, and the response has been incredible, but today I'm here to tell you about the new Drift Insider Plus. So they are making an offer. So they have a specific offer, and then they have a lot of call to action there. They have scarcity built in because it's only 100 spots. Dave Gerhardt says it's been approved by the CEO. Again, it adds up to the scarcity, the fact that you have to sign up, and the deal is really good. It is a good deal if you're looking for that type of stuff. And then under PS, he says, after you become an Insider Plus member, reply back to me, and I can say, hey, again, they do promote conversations. They want to get some feedback if they can as well. And this is where some insider information comes in. Just please don't share it with anyone on social media, because we really need to limit this to 100 people. So really good way of using that. And again, it doesn't necessarily have to be something that others didn't really know. This one was a part of a scarcity, which still was an insider information, something that others didn't know. And then when you get in, they will start feeding you more inside information. So this is one of the examples that I found. And this is a bonus. Comes from Dave Gerhardt. I've heard it and I've seen him using that many, many times. Whenever you are putting the second line of the email, right? Or whatever you're writing, it could be a blog post. Or the way Dave uses it is he puts the first line in the email subject line, right? His email subject line is the first line. It's the main hook of the thing that you're writing. And then the second one will be also known as the first line of the email, will be your continuation, right? And then you add a personal story to almost anything that they write. They add a personal story, because the personal story is it's personalization at scale. So they will say, okay, last week I was on the plane and here's what I realized. Amazing, right? And then they will say, hey, so today we are announcing XYZ thing, and it's going to be only limited for 100 people for free, and you can enter now if you just reply back or something like that, right? And so essentially you can combine the personal story with almost anything, but the key here is the first and second line. where you make it very, very personal. So that's how they do it, guys. This is the 7 steps to write a killer marketing email like Drift. And if you have any questions, let me know. You can email me at sergeyross.live@gmail.com. I have a newsletter as well, where I post a lot of content every week. Everybody's on track with all the cool stuff that is happening, not only in marketing, but also in business and personal development world. But hope you enjoyed it and would love to hear what you think. But otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one.